What's up, guys? Today is Tuesday, man. I'm on my way to work. I'm actually running kind of late today. It's like 6:10 and I'm supposed to leave out before 6. Today I'm gonna take you on the field with me. I'm gonna be doing some stainless at the fab shop. So I'll be showing y'all some tips and tricks on how to become a faster welder. Whenever you do these stainless, I'm gonna show you what I use and what helps me out to push out as much production as I can. So yeah, man, hope y'all enjoy the video. I'm gonna be trying to record as much as I can. Hopefully I don't get in trouble. My last job I was able to post as much as I can, so let's get to it. I really need to stop drinking these. I'm gonna grab one today, but I really want to step away. I'm taking all these energy drinks in the morning. If I don't have one every day, it don't feel right, but these are really bad for you, so I'm gonna stop taking this shit. Now I'm about to fill up my truck and fill up the machine. Yesterday I actually ran out of gas. I forgot to fill it up, but I had to go to the gas station. Okay, this is how it's gonna work. I'm gonna tell you on why I use what I tell y'all and the purpose of using it and why it's good to use it. So I'm gonna start off from the start. Whenever you do stainless, you need your high pressure gauge. This is one of my gauges that I use is a Harris. This is an oxygen gauge. The reason why you want a high pressure gauge is because whenever you purge these pipe, you want it to have good pressure in there. And you do not want to be sitting there all day waiting on it to purge if you have a smaller gauge. So get you one of these. I use this all the time. Like I said, this is a Harris. This is an oxygen gauge, and I just connect the Y to it. This one right here is my favorite one. People call these straight shooters. All it is a this right here. You get this from the oxygen gauge. That's where this comes with an oxygen gauge. You take that out and you get you one of these. I really can't even think of the names of these fittings, but if you go to the local welding supply, I'm sure you can get you all that. So whenever you use these use the tank's pressure, so you have a lot of pressure. But the downfall about these, you have to make sure that you don't put too much pressure because it will bust your argon hose. So you have to be careful with these. This is the one that I use daily, and the reason is because it's light. It does not weigh anything. I can easily pack it in my backpack or wherever I'm using, or my toolbox or whatever. The other one is too big, but I still use it. But this is my daily driver. This is what I prefer to use, and I have a Y. You know, I have a Y, so whenever somebody wants to hook up to the other side, I just use one, and I use my one argon hose, and I split it into another Y, and one goes into my TIG rig and the other one goes into my Purge. This is what I was talking about. This is the argon hose, and this is my Y directly to my TIG rig right here, and this is where my Purge will go. And the reason why you want to do that is because whenever you're about to close it up, you want to have the power to turn that argon off and on, or lower it down, and you'll have it right next to you, so you don't have to walk all the way up to the manifold or whatever, the argon tank. You'll have it right next to you, and that will save you a lot of time from walking back and forth. This is what I use for my Purge. You don't need anything fancy. A lot of people like to use the TIG filters, but a regular t-shirt or old rag would do it. Just tape it around the edge of your argon hose, and it works just as good as having those TIG filters on there. Alright, I got an 8-inch Schedule 10 right here. The way I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna just roll it. It's pretty easy. All you have to do is stay on top right here, drag it, and roll it again. So in Schedule 10 it will pull, so we're gonna weld it out, and then we're gonna check it to see what it does. So far I only got 3 tacks on it, 3 penetration tacks. The gap's a little closed, like right here. There's no biggie. Some sides are like 3/16. The square's a little off, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna keyhole the small gaps, and for the bigger gaps I'll use 1/8. So I'm gonna go ahead and run the whole route, and then I'll check the square to see what it does. Okay, I'm about to close it up right here. As you can see, the gap was too small, man. Make sure you have at least a 3/16 gap. So yeah, I don't have the keyhole, dipping keyhole. I feel like it takes too long. I feel like back feeding is much faster, but I still did it in a good bit of time. Don't forget to feather in your tacks like I did right here. Don't forget to do that, and don't forget to turn your argon down. You're supposed to barely feel that argon coming up before you tie in. If not, it's going to push your root out. So I'm about to tie in, then I'm going to check the square, and I'll let you know what I do next. Perfectly leveled right there. And it's touching the opposite line, which means it needs to draw down. It needs to draw down. So I'm gonna mark it with a marker. Roll the pipe. And there's the mark. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna draw the heat. I'm gonna start about right here, carry the heat, stop right here, come over here, do the same thing, stop right here, and that's to make the pipe rise back up to its 100% level. Ran the first pass, as you can see, stop right there. Now I'm about to jump to the other side and drag it up. It still hasn't moved all the way for it to be perfect. But I'm gonna go ahead and over here, I'm gonna do a 332 pass. It's almost flush, but the 332 pass is just to put some heat on there. Then I'm gonna go ahead and cap in 1/8, and by that time, this should pull back to being perfect. So a 332 pass right here, halfway on each side, going up. This is the bottom that I haven't cut, so I'm gonna start right here, go up, tie in, and I'm gonna start right here again and tie into the other side. Just finished capping it, and I'm up as work. I should have let the pipe cool off to get a nice cap, but it'll do the job. But what really matters is the square, the level. I mean, perfectly leveled. You know, that's all you really have to do whenever you're doing the stainless pipe. It's a pretty simple method. I'm gonna go ahead and I just got a little spot right here that got a cap, and that'll be it, and I'll be good. On to the next one. Here I got another one. See a square right there, but over here, touching that line. So what I did was, like I tell you, I put it on top. So I'm gonna run the bottom half, jump to this side, and I'm end up stopping right here. By the time I get right here, I'm gonna draw the pipe up. So that's why I put this on top. I only got 3 tacks in it so far. When you get to the field, you also do a lot of socket welds, and stainless socket welds move a lot. So you have to be careful with these. On my right side, I have a compass, so it'll be easier for y'all to understand me what I mean when it's how to draw the square wherever you want it to go. For example, for this one, let's just say I wanted the socket weld to pull south. I would start a little bit behind the west, drag it all the way down to the south, then I'll hop on the east and drag it all the way down till I meet into the south. So by the time you do that, it will pull the pipe towards that direction. Now, if you wanted to go to the west, all you would have to do will be using the same technique. Start a little bit behind the north, go until you meet into the west. Same thing, you hop to the south, you start a little bit behind the south, and you drag that rod all the way till you meet up to the west. It's pretty simple. Here I have a horizontal weld right above this OLED. And you use exactly the same technique whenever you do these horizontal welds. Nothing changes, same technique. I was trying to do a position weld on the field so I could get an idea of how to do these position welds, but I didn't get a chance to. But let's just pretend these little white bars are a pipe. What you're gonna do is you will have one side of the pipe completely leveled. You have to tell your fitter, or if you're fitting it, that you want the opposite side drawing down. You want that level to be down. The reason is, whenever you start welding these pipe, you're traveling up. So by the time you travel up, it will pull the other side up, and by the time you tie in into your root, it's still gonna be a little out of square. It will still need to drop some more, but by the time you put your filling cap, it will be at 100% leveled. That will save you a lot of time. That will save you a lot of time from draw washing, and you'll be able to push out more work. After a long day, finally 5:30, 10 in the gate. Man, today was a hot day. I think it was 105 boy, I felt those 105 degrees. But another day, happy to be working. I know a lot of people out of work right now, but I'm really blessed, able to still be able to provide for my family. But I hope I was able to help y'all out. You know, I wanted to show more videos, but where I work at, they'll fire you for anything. So I really want to, you know, protect the job. But hopefully I get to shoot more videos for y'all at work. I'm about to go pick up some new camera equipment today. I'm about to go to Best Buy and pick up a GoPro and some other equipment that I'm gonna use to record more videos. But I appreciate y'all. I would like to thank all my new subscribers. Don't forget to hit the like button. It really helps me out with the YouTube algorithm. I want to say thanks for watching. I'll see y'all next time.